Fashion isn't something you're taught or given. It comes from your own taste and your own choices. It displays the essence of who you are to the people around you. That's a quote from catalogue model, fashion icon, and the mother of all girl bosses, Claire Lightning Farron, in an interview with Nicolas Jacquer, the creative director of Louis Vuitton. No, I'm not kidding. Yes, it is a real interview. Final Fantasy and fashion have always been intertwined. Clothing is a big part of video game storytelling. In the words of Tetsuya Nomura himself, one of the biggest elements that helps the player to better imagine a character's personality or background is fashion. Final Fantasy has seamlessly combined a blend of timeless trends and influences to create the quintessential JRPG wardrobe, that instantly recognizable, fashionable high fantasy style. With so many outfits to choose from, I've decided to make my life and yours a little bit easier and break down my favourite Final Fantasy outfits by colour, inspired by Modern Girl's absolutely amazing series on the best colour outfits in cinema. If you love fashion and you love film, you need to check them out. Today, we're starting off strong with our first instalment, the 8 best red outfits in Final Fantasy. Why 8? No reason at all. The outfits in this video are in no particular order and were decided based on my own personal style rules. Number 1. Does the outfit fit into the world or with the theme of the game? Number 2. Does the outfit fit the character or say something about their journey? Number 3. The level of detail. By detail, I don't mean more embellishment. I mean, is there extra thought or care put into the outfit itself? And number 4. Does it look cool? Oh, and by the way, this video is exclusively about red outfits, so no red-haired or red-furred characters will be included. Sorry, Nanaki. Number 1. Aerith's red dress, Final Fantasy VII Remake. Aerith's red dress from the Final Fantasy VII Remake is, in my personal opinion, the most perfect dress for her ever. The deep red colour of the dress is intentionally sultry, but it doesn't feel overpowering or out of place for her character. It's also the least ostentatious Don Corleone outfit, and the only one that actually suits the person wearing it. No offence, Cloud. This is largely due to the detail. The lines of the dress are long, matching the length of her original outfit. The sweetheart neckline softens the dress, and the ruffles and large bow are kept to the bottom of the outfit, instead of more obvious areas like the neck, chest, or shoulders, where they can end up looking too over the top. The neckline is also embellished with little embroidered flowers, a nod to her job as a flower girl, and her high ringlets are decorated with the same red flowers and darker pink ribbons, a reference to her iconic hairpiece. While Aerith might think that the dress is gaudy, the audience and Cloud can see that this dress is a perfect fit for Aerith, even if she might take a little while to agree. Number 2. Freya Crescent, Final Fantasy IX. My poor Freya. This brave Burmesian knight has really gone through it, and we can tell just by examining her clothing. Freya's styling is heavily inspired by the medieval armour of European knights in the Middle Ages. Her red pointed hat is reminiscent of a hound skull or a visored bassinet, two styles of knights' helmets from the 15th century. The pointed top also looks a bit like a wizard hat, adding in that element of medieval fantasy along with the metallic wings on the side. Her long red cloak covers most of her face and body, potentially another nod to medieval armour, with the Burmesian coat of arms on an escuton in the centre of her chest. Her cuffs are tied with a simple rope with no embellishments. In the Middle Ages, red was a very popular colour, often used to symbolise wealth, strength, and, most commonly, love of all kinds. 15th century religious paintings often depicted the Virgin Mary wearing red as a symbol of agape, her unconditional love for God. Freya's great love for her people, for Burmecia, and for Sir Fratley are her driving force, and her love for them is certainly unconditional. But the red that Freya wears is a muted colour, worn down from her time on the road, but also from her continuous despair, both of which consume her, like her red coat consumes her tiny figure. Number 3. Terra Branford, Final Fantasy VI. Another girl who just cannot catch a break is Terra Branford. In the dystopian steampunk world of Final Fantasy VI, Terra's off-the-shoulder red dress, and yes, it is a dress, is a bright spot of colour, a symbol of hope in an otherwise bleak world. Legendary character artist Yoshitaka Amano drew more artwork of Terra than of any other Final Fantasy character, and for good reason. Red is Terra's representative colour, but it's also the colour that represents the game itself. Final Fantasy VI has my personal favourite costuming in the entire series. It uses bright jewel tones, mixed patterns, silk scarves, and intricate layering to contrast these darker backgrounds. This is heavily influenced by the fashion of 19th century North Africa and West Asia, although this was likely filtered through the lens of Orientalism. Terra's red dress is very dainty and girlish. The open neckline and shoulders show how gentle and vulnerable Terra really is. The long pointed sleeves and pointed red slipper boots are whimsical and fairy-like, a nod to her Esper heritage. The flower decals on the dress represent her youthful innocence and nurturing nature, which is why this flower motif is continued throughout the rest of Terra's outfit. No wonder she was Amano's favourite character to draw. This is an absolutely fabulous outfit. Number 4. Julia Hartley, Final Fantasy VIII. This might seem like a bit of a wildcard entry to some of you, but if you've been watching my channel for long enough, you know that I have an alarming interest in Final Fantasy VIII. Julia Hartley wears this red dress for her performance in the Galbadia Hotel on the night that she meets Laguna Loire. The deep red colour and the daring strappy cut halter neckline are elegantly seductive. After all, Julia is hoping to get some special alone time with this handsome himbo soldier. But Julia's dress is more than just a dress. It's a call back, well, really a call forward, to this yellow halter dress worn by her daughter Rinoa Hartley nearly 20 years later, on the night that she meets Squall Leonhart, Laguna's son. While Julia's red dress marks the beginning of the story, the night that Julia and Laguna's lives are altered forever, Rinoa's dress marks the beginning of the end, the night Rinoa and Squall's lives intertwine for the first time, bringing them together so that they can right the wrongs of the past. Number 5. Vincent Valentine, Final Fantasy VII. Not since Percy Shelley himself has a grown man committed so thoroughly to the romantic gothic aesthetic like Vincent Valentine. From his satin-lined coffin to his red eyes, when it comes to Vincent, the colour red only has one meaning: blood. The dark red cape that covers his face and upper torso is ragged and torn in the front, as if it was ripped away by claws. Immediately, we get the sense that this man is not only dangerous, he might be slightly feral. The matching headband is also blood red, and it's always looked, to me, more like a head bandage soaked in blood than an actual red headband. The rest of Vincent's outfit, the black undershirt and pants, the 17 black belts, are more in line with the rest of the party's fashion sense. The long red cape is what sets Vincent apart from the other characters, giving him this dramatic, vampire-like aesthetic that makes him seem out of time. The cape also adds to the general mystery around him, and it's also incredibly swishable, which Vincent loves to do, adding that dramatic gothic flair. Number 6. Auron, Final Fantasy X. Final Fantasy X has top-tier styling, and the costume design for Auron is a perfect example. Auron wears a red haori, a Japanese light jacket with a thin collar and triangular panels that was traditionally worn over a kimono to protect from dust or cold. Haori became more popular among the merchant classes during the Edo period, and often signified importance or wealth, being worn predominantly for special occasions. The haori is the focal point of Auron's costume, and it draws us into the character itself. The red colour shows us that Auron is a person of status, but it also draws our eye to the way he keeps his hand tucked into his side. The most popular theory for why he does this is that it's a reference to Ronin, masterless samurai who allegedly kept one hand tucked into their sleeve as a display of shame for losing their master. However, there's no historical evidence Ronin actually did this, and it's become more of a pop culture interpretation than anything. Other interpretations are that Auron is better able to equip and hold his weapons with his arm in this position, or that keeping his hand tucked at such an angle helps to keep him cool. But I wouldn't entirely discount the Ronin inspiration. Oren's overdrive Bushido is the name for the official moral code of the samurai, which was formalized during the Edo period. The Edo or Tokugawa period saw an increase in the number of ronin, many of whom became bodyguards or mercenaries for the wealthier merchant class, similar to how Oren became Braska's protector. Whatever your interpretation, Oren's Red Haori tells us the most important things that we need to know about him. He is a great warrior, and he always has something hidden up his sleeve. Number 7. Joshua Rossfield, Final Fantasy XVI. Joshua Rossfield, the dominant of the Phoenix, is decked out in colour symbolism from his very first appearance. Joshua wears this brick red tunic with puff sleeves, over what appears to be a longer sleeved white tunic. Tunics were the predominant outfit of choice for young boys in the medieval European period, which is where the game gets most of its costume inspiration. It really showcases Joshua's youthfulness and innocence. Joshua also wears a buttoned high-neck collar with white lace detailing, a nod to his role as the Red Mage. The symbolism of this outfit is significant. At 10 years old, Joshua should be incorporating more elements of older boys' design in his clothing, such as long trousers underneath the tunic. However, Joshua has been so tightly confined under his mother's control that he's much more sheltered and somewhat infantilized than a typical boy his age. The red of Joshua's outfit also seems to be the symbolic colour of the Grand Duchy of Rosaria, as both Joshua and his father, along with his father's soldiers, wear this red colour prominently in their design. I think it's very important to notice the difference in the costume design between Joshua and young Clive in this scene. Both Joshua and his father have very, very strong red colouring in their outfits, signifying both their connection to each other, Joshua being the inheritor of the Phoenix power, but also their distance from Clive. Joshua's adult outfit is an inverse of Clive's, with Joshua wearing a brighter red more prominently over his black outfit and Clive wearing this more muted red underneath his black armour. Number 8. Ultimecia. You know I could never finish a video about fashion in Final Fantasy without bringing up the OG herself. As the first female antagonist in Final Fantasy, Ultimecia had a lot to prove, and she came out the gates swinging, quite literally breaking the glass ceiling. In Final Fantasy VIII, red is often used to symbolize magic, specifically the bad kind of magic, the kind that caused the lunar cry and spawns monsters to destroy the land. The deep red of Ultimecia's dress warns of her magic power, but it is also seen throughout her castle decor, symbolizing luxury and power. Ultimecia is queen of her castle. Her boss fight begins with her seated on a literal throne, and her ultimate desire is to rule time and space. The plunging V neckline is a symbol of her perceived hypersexuality. Ultimecia's villainy and power is tied to her gender, as only women can be sorceresses, and the game portrays her as seductive and hyper-feminine to indicate to the audience how evil she is. This is tied into the real-world depictions of witches in Puritan colonies and European societies. They were evil temptresses who burned crops and shape-shifted into animals to pollute the well-bred young men and women of their communities. Ultimecia may have been defeated in the end, but an outfit so visually striking and thematically powerful, now that will never die. That's it for this list of my top 8 red outfits in Final Fantasy. Let me know what colour you'd like to see next. And remember, these are just my personal favourites. If your favourite outfit or character wasn't included in the video, feel free to mention it in the comment section below. I promise it's nothing personal, I probably just forgot about it. See you next time!